Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Music of the Week. I have over 6 albums to go through, and I don't really know how much time I have because I do have to put up night through the Golden Path tournament, which you'll probably see immediately after this video is up. So I do apologise for the double posting, I just wanted to get that out of the way now, but we have 6 albums to go through, so let's go through them. We begin with quite possibly the most popular album of the past weekend, and, well, the only one I really cared about. From all the huge releases, Eminem's new album, The Death of Slim Shady, in brackets, Coup de Grace. So, I'm giving this straight up a D+, and I understand the joke, right? I understand that the entire point is that Slim Shady was the alter ego that Eminem used for a long time. I've listened to Eminem for a long time. I did a backtracking episode about the man. I've listened to all of his albums. I'm familiar with Slim Shady, is what I'm saying, right? And the entire point was that, you know, the Slim Shady persona would come through, and Eminem was trying to tell a concept with it of Slim Shady basically saying all the shit that he could get away with more back then, but can't do now. The problem with that joke is that it doesn't work because, for one thing, for the most part, he's obviously he's punching down. That was a Slim Shady's thing. But it feels like such a cannibalization of it, because at least back then it felt like he had a point, but this time it just feels like he's just punching down on trans people, on any sort of queer people, on people with disabilities. Seriously, the amount of times that he uses the R word within the first two-thirds of the album absolutely baffles me, and it's only in the first two-thirds because by the time a skit rolls around to bring in the last stretch of the album, the Slim Shady character is killed, and it's some of the best music on the entire album. The problem with that is it takes 45 minutes to get to that. It is way too long of a setup for a bad punchline, and in rap music, that's fucking stupid. And again, I get the joke, but it doesn't work because Slim Shady wasn't even a relevant thing for a long time. The last time that Eminem even brought him around was sort of sparsely on Relapse. And, you know, that's an album that people look back on with fondness, and no, that album still sucks. Relapse is still... I will say this about Coup de Grace, right? Relapse is my least favourite Eminem album, but I think Coup de Grace is his most unnecessarily fucking annoying album, and it just completely missed the mark in terms of its concept. It's a slog to listen to. The praises I will give it, which is what prevents it from getting an E or an F, is that Eminem can still fucking rap, obviously, and when he wants to be as a solid lyricist, I guess, but it is mostly him and the production, which really saves things. But that's something he could have said, or at least I could say about his previous few albums, like Music to Be Murdered by Kamikaze, even Revival, which existed. But yeah, it just misses a lot of things big time for me. Next we have Goat Girl and their new album Below the Waist. That's waist spelled W-A-S-T-E and not W-A-I-S-T. I kind of like that. That's a good play on words. This is a post-punky act from South London, and I'm giving this one a B+. I thought this was some really solid stuff. It is a trio of girls, so it's sort of accurate that they're called Goat Girl, even though there should be Goat Girls because there's 3 of them, but that's just me. They do some really good post-punky stuff, though. I like the vibes that they put out. The instrumentation on this thing is especially really goddamn good, as is the production. I don't remember the name of the producer for this one. Obviously, it'll be edited in post, but whoever it is, they did a pretty damn good job with it, and I do like the themes for the most part. I just wish that they were explained better. There is clearly some dark stuff, and I think there is stuff about, some stuff about addiction and depression. But again, it's very difficult to tell, but I think the main selling points of this are, again, the riff work and the performances. And the production, but also the performances are really good. The main trio, well, the only trio, have a lot of really good chemistry. I think my main thing with it is sort of structuring, because it does feel like it's just stretching songs out at times, and there's quite a lot of songs. There's like 16 songs on this album, and it does feel, again, like they're just trying to stretch it a little bit. But it's not a bad stretch, and there is enough interesting stuff within the actual sounds to justify it, so yeah, it's pretty goddamn good stuff. Next we stick with London, bizarrely, for Graphic Nature and their second album, Who Are You When No One Is Watching? And I was kind of looking forward to this one, but I also wasn't expecting it, because the band's last album only came out last year, like February last year, A Mind Waiting to Die, really good album. That one didn't make my top 30 of 2023, this one might make my top 30 of 2024. I'm giving it an A+. There are a lot of leaps that I was hoping the band would make from their debut to this. The fact that they made them not even in like a year and a half, like a year and 5 months, Yeah, it's an absolutely incredible album, especially from a production standpoint. Sam Blower, who I'm not familiar with in terms of his work, did the production for this, and he brings out so much in the sound without really costing anything. This is a post-hardcore sort of new metalcore-ish style sound, and a really fucking gritty one at that. The lyrics especially go quite dark with themes of addiction and depression, and trauma is a heavy theme as well, and also the theme of identity given the album's title, which I really like how that's worked in as a good theme. You know, I think the performances are great, especially lead singer Harvey Freeman, who puts in an absolute tour de force on the mic. He is fucking vicious and unrestrained, and he can sing really well, but I like that there's not as much cleanness to this album. There is this raw sort of razor's edge to it, which I really fucking like. And the riffs are just super heavy. I love how scratchy they feel, how unpredictable they can be, but they rein themselves in at the right time. It reminded me a bit of Tala. Not as complex as Tala can be, but still very much within that ballpark. And hey, Tala's a great band too, so yeah. I guess my main issue might be there's maybe tiny bits of padding, and maybe the lyrical themes are too dark, but that shit's barely noticeable because the rest of the album is just so fucking good, and yeah, it weighs it. So yeah, I absolutely love this thing. A plus, A plus, A plus. Next we have the home team and their new album, The Crucible of Life. That's just a really cool title. Yeah, I mean, this is a band that sort of fell in under my YouTube radar through their song Hell, which I think is my favourite song on the album. I'm giving it a B+. This is some really nice sort of alt-rock, pop-rock noodling with some post-hardcore elements. It did remind me a little bit of Dance Gavin Dance, but with more of a pop-rock element and more guitar solos. I really wish Will Swan would do more guitar solos for DGD. But yeah, the guitar work on this is really good. I like how clean the production is. It can feel like maybe it overdoes it a little bit at points. But my main thing with this, my main issue, I guess, is the lyrics, because the band say that the main theme is the theme of life, and their life touring as a band and being away from family, and that could make a really good, heartfelt and realistic feeling emotional thing. But most of the lyrics, from what I could read, just feel it's mostly about sex. It's just mostly about sex, or there's a lot of sexual references made. I'm just like, yeah, that's not the theme that I think of when I listen to this album. But the band have a lot of charisma. The lead vocalist especially has a really really good voice to him. Good vocals, good instrumentation, really good production. If a tad overdone at times, I do think the pacing is pretty good as well. I do think a couple of songs are a little bit too short, but they're fun. It's ultimately a very fun album with a lot of really good vibes. So if you just want some fun pop rocky, alt rocky, sort of almost Dance Gavin Dancey vibage, this is going to fill that gap. Next is In Heart's Wake and their new album Incarnation. This is only my second album by the band after their previous album back in 2020. I think it was called Caligula or something like that. Not Caligula, Caligula. It was something along those lines. Give me this an A, the second highest grade of the episode. And I really like this one. I will get my massive sin out of the way with it, though. The lead singer of King 810 is on one of the songs, and that band can fucking fuck off, frankly, because I don't like King 810. I don't think anyone does or should. I've never even listened to a song by them, and I'm proud of that. But yeah, this is, a reason why I fucking love Australian music so much. Really good themes of environmentalism and climate control, and some really good political stuff. There's really good performances as well. The band absolutely put in their role into this one. The production is really big. It's one of the biggest feeling albums in terms of its mix for me. Really good riffs. I do wish that there were more solos, but I like the balance of the heavy stuff and the melodies, and there's really good breakdowns. And yeah, it serves its point quite well. I can't really think of many faults I have with it. Performances are solid. I like a lot of the guest spots because besides King 810, there's a lot of fucking guest spots on that album. On this album, in fact, even the song that the lead singer King 810 appears on has two other guest vocalists. So, I don't know, that's kind of cool. Are they guest vocalists or just guest musicians? There's a lot of people on this album. Is the point I'm trying to make. But yeah, really good stuff. I guess if I have another issue with it, it might feel like it does a little bit too much at times, but it does end on a truly fucking great song, the name of which I can't remember off the top of my brain. And also, it's just really goddamn good metalcore. We've had some really good metalcore this year, I will admit, and this is another album that's going to fit with those, I think. And next we stick to Australia for a band called Speed and their debut album Only One Mode. So Speed really does sound like an old classic rock band, but no, they're a band from Australia, or at least they were formed in Australia. This is a sort of beatdown style street hardcore punk group, and it's been a while since I've heard that style of hardcore, so it's nice to get it in my ears every now and then. Giving this album a B, I thought the performances were really good, and I like the themes of modularization because two of the band members I think are Asian American. So it's weird for this to be an Australian band when two of the members are not. But then again, I covered a band like that not long ago, which is supposed to be from England, and the only person from England is the lead singer. But yeah, I really liked how most of this worked. Really heavy riffs that punch you straight in the fucking jaw, and they're really smart punches too. This is not just a band that's like trying to hit you as hard as they can. They're thinking of really quick and clever ways to do it. Some of the songs are over a little bit too fast, and I think the album can suffer from being maybe a little bit overproduced at times, but it's got a good point to make and makes those points really, really quickly. It's bolstered by big riffs and really good lyrical themes and really good performances. So, yeah, all in all, another solid recommendation. And that'll about do it. Next is the official ranking system. At the bottom would be Eminem with the Death of Slim Shady Coup de Grace, sort of obvious there. Speed with Only One Mode, the home team with Crucible of Life, we're on 3 now, Goat Girl with Below the Waist, In Heart's Wake with Incarnation, and finally at the top, Graphic Nature with Who Are You When No One Is Watching. As always, go and listen to all of these yourself when you have the time. Favourite song goes to For You from Who Are You When No One Is Watching, because it is a fucking emotional ass closer. It reminded me a lot of Something to Remember Me by, like the closing track of the album by the same name by To Kill Achilles in a way, but this one is a lot heavier. Favourite album cover goes to Incarnation by In Heart's Wake. It just looks really nice. It's a very clean looking cover. I like the art of it, and I like that it uses the tarot cards because the songs on the album have like they have official titles, but in brackets next to them they have like tarot cards, which I thought was a good touch, and I like that the tarot cards are on the album. That'll about do it for me. The next thing you'll see me for in person will probably be a reaction tomorrow because Fever 333 dropped a new song this week and I haven't heard it yet, so I want to do that one. And then after this video's up, you'll probably be seeing Night 3 of the Golden Path Tournament. So yeah, that'll about do it for all that. And then obviously tomorrow night will be the fourth and final night uploaded on YouTube. So I'll see you all for those things. As always, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye bye.